the way they're asking you to dress. In other words, you can't change that, so don't even try. But say to yourself, but I can feel bad about it or I can feel better about it. I do have control over whether I complain or whether I praise, whether I lean this way or whether I lean that way. And as you deliberately begin reaching for things that you appreciate about it, and you begin to turn and go with the flow, now here's the most important thing. All of the time that you were doing what you didn't want to do, you were asking for improvement. And your vibrational escrow is full of all of that improvement. But you were keeping yourself apart from the improvement because you were focused upstream. Now you're deliberately focusing not upstream, and you're allowing the stream to turn you. Now the stream is carrying you toward the circumstances and events that will give you what you are wanting. Now you're turned in the stream. You have access to the better ideas. You have access to the better employment. You have access to the self-sufficiency. You have access to financial independence. You have access to what you've long been asking for, but you are finally allowing yourself to go there because you get it that it's not an action journey, it's an emotional journey, you see. Good. Really good. So, disease is just what it sounds like. It's dis-ease. It's ease is going with the flow, and dis-ease is working against the current. So, if you have lived life and you've got your stream moving really fast, but you have habits of thought that don't let you go with it, then the stream beats you up pretty good. And the combination of a fast-moving stream and thoughts that go in opposition to it are what are the root of the greatest of diseases. In other words, you could have a disease that's uncomfortable, that is because your stream is moving fast and you're just sort of occasionally turning against it. Or you could have a disease that's really a big label disease if you've got a stream that's moving really fast and you've got many thoughts that are moving in opposition to it. In other words, you don't have to have thoughts of the disease in order to have disease. You just have to have upstream thoughts, and that's what causes disease. All disease is about upstream thoughts in a fast-moving stream. A woman said to us one day, Abraham, it's not fair. I have 3 big label diseases right now, and I'm pretty positive. And my friend is not positive, and she's not sick. It's not fair. And we said, well, her stream isn't moving as fast as yours is, so she doesn't have to be as careful about which way her boat is pointed in the stream. In other words, she has not been living life with the intensity that you have, so she has not been asking for as much, so her stream isn't moving as fast, and your thoughts are in opposition to your fast-moving stream. So that's what we meant by the mix of this. If you've got a fast-moving stream and you're mostly looking for optimistic things, then your stream's moving fast and you feel good. But if you have a fast-moving stream and you're worried about this and your government's driving you crazy and you've got a bad relationship and you don't have enough money, and so all day, every day, you're focused upon things that aren't working for you, and the more you focus upon that, the more you ask for more. So the worse it gets, the more you ask for, the faster the stream goes, the faster the stream goes, the more you go in opposition. You get a pretty strong tug of war going on inside of you. So when we talk about distraction from that, you heard us say earlier that you don't have to necessarily find positive thoughts and put a motor on your boat and get moving that way. You just have to stop doing the negative stuff. You just have to distract yourself from what's bothering you. But the trouble with that, when someone is seriously ill, is that not only are the things that have been bothering them still bothering, because they still have the same rotten relationship, or they're still mad at their government, or they still don't have enough money, but now they're sick on top of that. And so now they've got doctors usually showing them x-rays or blood tests that cause them to point even more upstream. And so instead of offering less resistance after the diagnosis, they usually offer more resistance. And so that's why it seems so incredible to people to hear us say that you are such a short distance away from complete healing if you would just stop going upstream and allow yourself to begin going downstream. We would also like to say, and we're going to get really specific about your question, we would also like to say that the more your life has caused you, through its contrasting pieces, to ask for more. In other words, the more you've been sick, the weller you are in vibrational escrow. Jerry was so sick as a child, and his sickness actually served him. You won't meet anybody at his as well as he is today, but it was because his life experience as a child caused him to put so much more energy into vibrational escrow, and when he was able to release resistance, his wellness became exaggerated beyond that which normal people would live. You get a sense of what we're talking about. Yeah. So, now to get to the specifics. So, let's say someone has one of those big diagnoses. And your question is, so how could they be distracted from all of that? And we say it's a little tricky, because not only do they need to be distracted from the illness itself, which is hard to do because it's showing up, but they have to be distracted from what caused the illness to begin with. And it would have been a lot easier to do it before the illness manifested. But the good news is most people won't try as hard before the illness manifests. Now they've got greater reason to be more deliberate about their thought. The other, next important thing we want to say is that distraction, and this is the reason that we're talking to all of you in the way that we are today. So many try the impossible. They say, all right, now after I've been practicing upstream thoughts for a very long time, and all the people around me are practicing upstream thoughts, that's kind of who I hang out with. Now, all of a sudden, on a dime, I'm going to turn around and start practicing downstream thoughts. And we say, no, you're not. That's not logical, it's not practical, and law of attraction isn't going to help you, because law of attraction is going to keep bringing you thoughts like you've been thinking. So, that's where making peace with where you are is so important. That's where understanding the stream is so important. Understanding your true legacy is so important. Understanding what your emotions mean is so important. So when you begin saying things to yourself, such as negative emotion means I'm upstream, and softer means I'm turning downstream. So now you begin making this an emotional journey rather than an action journey. You begin making it about the way you feel, which means you begin making it about your vibration, which means you begin to allow yourself to turn in the stream rather than about action that isn't going to get you where you want to be. It's like we said to our friend just now. You just can't get there from there. So we teach meditation because it's really easier to teach people to have no thought than to have pure positive thought. So if you could get someone to just work on quieting their mind for a few minutes every day, that's really a stream-turning experience, because when they stop thought, they stop resistant thought. When they stop resistant thought, their boat turns in the stream. That's why we teach things like looking for things to appreciate, because when you look for something to appreciate, you can't complain at the same time. Appreciating is downstream, always. When you make positive aspects, that's a downstream thought. And so the distraction comes in by trying to get their mind off their sickness. We had a meeting in San Antonio a while back where medical practitioners from all different disciplines assembled. And the most important concept that was concluded as we all chewed together was